I'm Jodi Picoult. I am part of the series #whereiwrite, and I'm going to take you guys on a tour of my office. Okay, so I work up on the 3rd floor of my house. We're going up the stairs now. You can see this absolutely gorgeous paint job, which we only recently did. My office was actually the last room in our house to be finished. So this is it. I really did try to clean up for you guys, but this is about the best that I can do. And I'll take you on a little tour and show you some of the cool stuff in here. That is a Wild Thing, which I actually rescued from a bookstore that was getting rid of it. And it's my daughter's favorite children's book, so it now lives in my office here. Over here, this is my desk. My desk, as you can see, kind of spans an entire wall of my office. Up over here, we have this very, very cool framed New York Times bestseller list from when Leaving Time debuted at #1. The truth is I have a bunch of these, which is so cool, but also really embarrassing. You can't like hang these all over your house because your ego would be so big. So I have them in my office, and since we painted, we haven't hung them up yet, but this is the most recent one. So when I'm feeling really down, I can just look at it. This bin, these 2 bins, this red and yellow filing system, they are full of ideas I have yet to write. So for all of you who are saying, you know, oh, she's never going to be able to she's got to keep writing, don't worry, I actually have every intention of keeping writing for a long time, and there are plenty of ideas jammed in those files. If you look down here, you will see lots and lots of stacks of paper. This is what a book in progress looks like for me. I'm going to be talking to you today about the book of mine that's coming out in May in the States and June in the UK. And it's called Off the Page, and it's the companion to the YA novel that I wrote with my daughter called Between the Lines. But what you see on my desk right now is my next adult novel, which is currently being called Living Color. And what I do is tons and tons of research for my books, including a lot of interviews. And the stacks of paper, all these, are interviews. And you can see how I will mark up papers and tag them with Post-its based on different sections that I know are going to be in the book. Over here, these are just my shelves with lots of fun little things crammed into the nooks and corners. Now, this is what the life of a writer looks like. These are notes I have to myself and charts with character ages and quotes that I know I'm going to use in the book, things that I don't want to forget about. I'll have stuck up somewhere on my, my desk. Over there, we have a picture of me and Sammy, which is important because I'm going to be reading to you from our book. This is kind of fun. Someone sent me this. It was a crossword puzzle where I was a clue. And then up here, we have more paraphernalia, lots of family photos. That's my husband when we were in college. He's the really cute guy who's the stroke of the boat there. And this is a Wonder Woman lunchbox I got when I was writing Wonder Woman. And there's a more recent picture of my husband and myself, a little reminder to write, and then again some more fun stuff that I've collected over the years or that people have given me. Excuse me. This is my computer, which I will bring back to life for you. So keep that picture in mind because I'm going to come back to that and tell you a little bit about it. That is a novel in progress on the screen, and that's all you're going to see of Living Color right now because that's all I'm willing to show to you. Over here is my workhorse of a printer. Again, more family photos. These are my kids when they were super tiny and incredibly cute. This is a picture of Kyle and I at Disney World after he graduated from college. This is a really cool picture. This is Sammy and myself with a patient at a children's hospital in Boston. When we were on tour for Between the Lines, we actually went to a lot of children's hospitals and talked to some of the patients there as we gave away copies of the book. This is the view from my window. So, hey, did I mention it's April? Look at all that snow on the ground. It's about 22 degrees here this morning, and I'm trying to figure out why I live here. This is a very beautiful stained glass window that my husband got for me. He deals in antiques, and this is an antique that he hung. Over here, the archaic facts. And then if you look in this direction, you will see shelves, lots of shelves with lots and lots of stuff stacked on them. This is the way that I organize the nuts and bolts of having a home office. So, for example, you'll see supplies, but also lots of other fun things that talk a lot about my life when I'm not writing. So, like, for example, these are DVDs of original musicals that I've written with my best friend, Ellen Wilbur. We perform musicals up here with a troupe that I run called the Trumbull Hall Troupe in New Hampshire, and we raise money for local charities by performing these musicals. We have this cute little model of a double-decker bus that had a Jodi Picoult ad on it one year, and I got to bring that home from tour. And then also up here we have, again, it's a bunch of awards. So here's like the embarrassing thing. It's awesome to win these awards, but you can't leave them all out on your mantle. So I have them all collected up here in my office. This is a Granite State New Hampshire Library Association award. Back here is the New Hampshire Literary Award for Outstanding Merit that I got last year. And then if you come up here, you'll see a collection of gifts that I've received from friends of mine, to family photos, to presents from my kids, and photos of me with friends of mine and my grandma, more awards, all the way across here to this last shot of my kids and a shot of me and my best friend Ellen, who writes those musicals with me. And now I'm going to take you over, sorry if you're all getting sick as I turn to you, I'm going to take you back over to my desk, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the process of writing off the page. So here's my daughter Sammy, and Sammy is 19, she is a sophomore at Vassar, and the idea for our series, our young adult series, came from Sammy when she was about 13, and she had this idea while she was daydreaming in French class and asked what would happen every time a book is closed. What if the characters had lives and personalities totally different from the ones that they acted in the book? And what if every time someone opened a book, they had to snap right back into Act 1, Scene 1 and perform all over again? And what if there was like a prince in a book who was sick of being in a fairy tale and really wanted to get out and finally realized that he could basically get to a reader and talk to her and somehow manage to get her to stop, to get him out of the book. So that was the premise for Between the Lines, and Off the Page is the companion piece because it follows up with what happens when you get your happily ever after and you realize that there might be some consequences. So Sammy and I wrote this book together sitting right here at this desk. And the one condition that Sammy had about writing was that I get her a matching chair, a rolly chair like mine, which I did, and then she proceeded to never use it. Instead, she wrapped herself in a down comforter and would write literally from the floor. But we worked out a routine. And the other thing that we did was we started plotting this book when she was still in school. And you can see we began to make lists like this about scenes that we knew we were going to see. And there were emails that went back and forth between me and Sammy where we gave each other ideas that we might have had. And then when we actually started writing, Sammy took out a bunch of glitter pens and she began to write these notes. And these were, I don't even know where these came from, honestly, but every time we would write a scene, if there was something in particular that we did really well, she might take this note and stick it on my chest. And if she wrote a really great love scene between Oliver and Delilah, I might take this one and stick it on her. And we just went back and forth like that, putting these stickers on each other and laughing a lot. And the day that we finished the book, we took this selfie with us wearing all of the stickers at once, which was really, really fun. So what I'm going to do for you now is read to you a little passage from Off the Page. Like I said, it should be out in bookstores in May or June, depending on where you live in the world. And I'm going to try really, really hard to keep this steady so that I don't make you sick as I'm reading. It's hard to do one-handed. But this is one of my favorite scenes in the book, and it's because it's this really sweet scene between Oliver and Delilah, who are our protagonists in the book. And I think, I don't know, it just reminds me of what it really means to fall in love with someone. So this is in Delilah's point of view. I grab the fairy tale and let it fall open to page 43. Oliver springs to the rock wall, holding on the way he would if anyone ordinary were to open the book. When he sees that I'm the reader, however, his eyes widen. "I'm sorry," he says immediately. "I tried not to open the book. I really did. I know you think I shouldn't come here anymore. It's just I can't not talk to you." I realize that Oliver has hopped down and is smiling from ear to ear. "I'm glad you didn't listen to me," he says. "I can't stop thinking about you." "What are we going to do?" I whisper. "Well," he says bravely, "it's not all bad. It's sort of the way we started, isn't it? I don't mean now. I mean in 10 years, 20. I'm going to be ancient and you'll still be perfect." He grins. "You think I'm perfect?" "I'm not kidding, Oliver." I shake my head. "It just doesn't work if you're in there and I'm out here." He thinks about this for a moment. "But you are in here. No matter what I see, or no matter what I look at, I see you. Can you really tell me that's enough for you? Won't you get sick of pining away for someone you're never truly going to be with?" Oliver looks up at me. "You're a part of me," he says. "To get rid of you would literally tear me to pieces." For the first time since Oliver's left, I smile. "I bet you say that to all the girls who were your ticket to freedom." I expect Oliver to laugh, but instead he sobers. "Delilah," he says, "even if I'd been born in your world, I would have found you. I would have chosen you." "How am I supposed to go to school and be normal and pretend you never happened?" "It's what I do every day," Oliver replies. "It's called acting. It's not all that difficult to be the person people expect you to be. It's harder to remember who you really are." "Who I really am?" I repeat. "I guess I'm just a girl looking for a prince." "Any prince?" he jokes. "Just the fictional kind. I have a thing for 2 dimensions. I like my guys flat." He sinks down against the rock wall, drawing his knees to his chest. "Wouldn't it be lovely if we could write our own fairy tale?" Oliver muses. I curl onto my side, propping the book against the pillow. "How would it start?" "Once upon a time, of course," he says. "We meet at the market. I ask you to reach the spaghetti on the top shelf," I continue. "And it's love at first sight," Oliver adds. "What we do?" "Well," Oliver says, "we'd live in a little cottage with window boxes where you'd plant violets, and every morning you'd cook me your amazing chocolate chip pancakes." "And what would you be doing for me while I'm slaving away in your sexist kitchen?" I ask. "Someone has to take care of the baby," Oliver replies. "We have a kid?" 3. 2 strapping lads and a little princess. I pull the covers close. "Do we have pets?" "Only a dozen dogs," Oliver says. "All basset hounds, of course." "Every day," I add, "you go to work." "I do?" Oliver asks, truly surprised. "Our country's not a monarchy," I point out. "The peasants aren't going to pay for the college educations of your 3 kids." "What on earth do I do?" I think for a moment. "You teach fencing." "And you own the corner bookshop," Oliver pronounces, "filled to the rafters with fairy tales. After every dinner, we tuck the children into bed and drink a cup of tea and watch the news. And the best part is at night, I get to hold you," Oliver says. "And I know that I never, ever have to let go. And we are absolutely, positively, blissfully ordinary," I sigh. He looks up at me and I stare down at him, and even though we're both smiling, there's a whole world of sadness between us. "Oliver, will you stay with me while I fall asleep?" "Always," he swears. I put the book down on the pillow beside me, still wide open. 1 minute I'm awake, and the next minute I'm not. It happens that fast, that effortlessly, like the moment night turns into morning, or summer shivers into fall. Like love. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had fun, and keep an eye out for Off the Page. Take care. Bye.